You know, we're all taught to believe that people make decisions logically, right? You just present the best features, you list out all the benefits, and the rational brain goes, yep, that makes sense, I'll take it. But what if that's completely backward? What if every single decision we make, from the tiny to the life-changing, actually starts with a feeling? And this is where a really powerful idea comes in, from the psychologist J.D. Pincus. This quote right here is the absolute core of what we're digging into today. People feel the answer first, and then their logical brain plays catch-up, scrambling to build a story that justifies that feeling. Honestly, when you really get this, it changes everything about how you communicate.
So this really lays out the big shift we're talking about. The old way, the way most marketing is still done, is all about logic. It assumes you're talking to a perfectly rational buyer. But the new way, it gets that we're all emotional beings. You have to connect with a core emotional need before the logic can even have a chance to stick.
Okay, so if emotion is driving the car, how do we get in and steer? We can't just guess, right? We need a map. So let's dive into a framework that's designed to uncover those hidden emotional drivers that are really calling all the shots.
And here it is. Think of this as the periodic table of human needs. This is J.D. Pincus's incredible map of motivation, and look at how it's organized. It covers everything from our most foundational needs like control and safety to our experiential needs like autonomy, all the way up to our loftiest aspirational desires like finding meaning. It's all here.
Now, what's so brilliant about this whole framework is how simple it is at its core. It all boils down to just two questions. First, where do you want to change? Is it about you personally? Is it about your relationships, your finances, your sense of purpose? And second, what kind of change are we talking about? Is it something foundational about who you are? Is it about what you're doing? Or is it about what you aspire to have?
Okay, so that map is already incredibly powerful, but what if we could add another layer to it? What if we could turn it into a genuine tool for persuasion? Kind of like adding a superpower that lets us see not just what people want, but how they're wired to go after it.
So this is where it gets really interesting. We're bringing in the work of another psychologist, E. Torrey Higgins, and he found that we're all basically motivated in one of two ways. Some of us are in promotion focus. We're all about chasing gains, growth, and we're driven by hope. And others are in prevention focus. We're trying to avoid pain, minimize risk, and we're driven by a need for security.
And here's the magic. This is how the two ideas fit together perfectly. Pincus's map tells you what emotional need you're tapping into, let's say it's autonomy. Then Higgins's framework tells you how that person thinks about autonomy. Are they trying to gain more freedom, or are they trying to avoid being controlled? It's the same need, but from two completely different angles.
Let's see how this actually works. So if we look at that top level, the aspirational or having level, you can see how every need splits in two. Take competence. For a promotion-focused person, the message is about the gain, advancing your status, achieving mastery. But for a prevention-focused person, it's about avoiding the loss, preventing mistakes, and not losing credibility. See? Two sides of the exact same coin.
Now let's look at the doing level, the experiential stuff. Let's pick security. You could frame your message with a promotion focus, talking about building stability and creating that feeling of assurance for the future. Or you could flip it to a prevention focus and talk about avoiding uncertainty and that feeling of vulnerability. It's the same core need, just spoken in two different emotional languages.
And finally, you see the same thing at the deepest level, the foundational or being needs. Take trust. You can focus on the promotion side of building dependable, solid relationships. Or you can hit that prevention nerve by helping people avoid the feeling of betrayal and deception. This dual-lens system is it's incredibly versatile.
Okay, theory's great, but let's make this really concrete. It's one thing to see these charts, but how do we actually take a simple, kind of boring product feature and translate it into a message that hits one of these deep emotional needs?
Let's start with a feature like one-click optimization. Simple enough. Well, this taps directly into our need for autonomy. So for that promotion-focused person, you talk about gaining freedom from those awful manual checklists. For the prevention-focused person, you talk about avoiding the pain of being stuck doing repetitive tasks for hours. You see how that works? Here's another one, a feature called comprehensive application. This one hits that aspirational need for competence. The promotion angle is all about achieving mastery, deploying a system that's just flawless. The prevention angle? Well, that's all about stopping you from making those costly mistakes that could seriously damage your credibility at work.
And for our last example, think about a feature like tracked changes. On the surface, it's just about transparency. But emotionally, it taps right into that foundational need for trust. You can promote the good feeling of having a system that's completely reliable, or you can help people avoid what we might call the black box betrayal. You know, that awful feeling of mistrust when a system won't show you how it works.
So you've got this amazing framework. Now what? How do we actually put this to work with the tools that we're all using now, like AI? How can we use all this to guide something like a language model to create copy that is genuinely creative and emotionally smart?
This is probably the most important thing to remember. An AI is just a tool. It's a phenomenally powerful tool, but it's only as creative and as insightful as the instructions you give it. If you give it generic prompts, you're going to get generic, boring answers. To get something special, you have to guide it to think deeper.
So here are 3 really powerful prompting techniques from the guide. First up, force subtraction. This is where you tell the AI all the marketing cliches you absolutely hate, the words you never want to see, and then ask it to write. Second, flip the angle. Ask the AI to write from a skeptic's point of view. This is genius for uncovering objections you never even thought of. And third, go deeper. Push it past the obvious answers. Ask for the language that connects your feature to a customer's deepest sense of purpose or value.
So as we wrap this up, I want to leave you with this one question. Think about your own brand, your product, whatever it is you're working on. Look at that periodic table of motivation. Think about those dual lenses of promotion and prevention. What untapped emotion is just sitting there, waiting beneath the surface? If you can find it and speak to it, you might just transform everything.